In my last video, I covered how GPUs will return to MSRP pricing once the GPU mining bubble breaks and moves to its final stage. I showed how GPU mining is dominated by Ethereum mining and that when Ethereum mining moves to proof of stake, that GPU mining profitability will drop significantly. But what happens if the merge to proof of stake is delayed? Will the GPU mining bubble still break? Let's get into it. Historically, Ethereum's move to proof of stake has been in the plan from the very beginning, and several times in the past they delayed the transition. So it is valid to question whether a delay could also happen next year or the next couple of years. The transitions were to be implemented through the use of a difficulty bomb. As I discussed last time, the difficulty bomb is a mechanism that will exponentially increase the difficulty of mining to the point where it becomes unprofitable. We can visualize when that has happened in the past by looking at the block time. The block time is the average time required to find a block, and if we look at the history of the block time for the past several years, we can see three bumps. The three bumps show the exponential increase in the average block time. The increase in block time is due to the increase in difficulty, and each time, at the end of the spike, the difficulty bomb was delayed by a new hard fork. The three instances were the Byzantium hard fork in 2017, where it was delayed for a year. Then there was the Constantinople hard fork in 2019, and finally, the Muir Glacier upgrade in 2020, again, delayed. So it is possible that we could have another situation where the hard fork from proof of work to proof of stake is delayed. In fact, crypto mining companies are betting against the move to proof of stake. Two examples are Hut 8 Mining and Hive Blockchain Technologies. They are investing millions of dollars in adding capacity to mine Ethereum. These large mining operations are looking to add this capacity even though Ethereum's move to proof of stake is targeted for Q1 of 2022. Also, ASIC manufacturers will also be releasing new Ethereum ASIC miners. New and more efficient Ethereum ASIC miners from companies like Bitmain and InnoSilicon will launch later this year. If you look at the specs of Bitmain's E9 Antminer, it will have the ability to generate 3,000 megahash per second while using 2.5 kilowatts of power, and it expects to earn $176 per day. To generate that amount of hash power with the GPU, you would need about 26 RTX 3090s, and they would consume 8.3 kilowatts. So you can clearly see that ASIC miners are much more efficient than GPU miners. So even if Ethereum's merge to proof of stake is delayed, these large operations will greatly add to the Ethereum network hash rate, and this will raise the level of difficulty. That will then reduce the amount of GPU mining profits. But how long will that take? That will depend on two key factors: the price of Ethereum and the total amount of network hash rate power. As more and more people keep buying GPUs and mining Ethereum, and as companies start to deploy more ASIC miners to the network, you essentially have more people fighting to win a piece of the pie. Sooner or later, there isn't enough pie to feed everyone. The only way to continue feeding everyone pie is to increase the size of the pie, and that happens with the increase in the price of Ethereum. So what will be the price of Ethereum next year? Some crypto experts predict the value of Ethereum could reach as high as $4,500, while others predict it could drop to $1,200 as part of the speculative bubble breaking. Since I don't know the future, if I did, I would be rich already and enjoying time in the tropics somewhere. Let's just consider that Ethereum will still be around where it is today at $3,000. So how much higher would the Ethereum hash rate power have to increase before mining Ethereum becomes unprofitable with Ethereum at $3,000? If we pull up the chart for the Ethereum network hash rate over the past year, you can see it is currently near the all-time high of 700 terahash per second. 1 year ago, it was just at 256 terahash per second. That is more than a 2.7 times increase in a year. In the chart, you can see an inflection point right at the start of the year where the growth rate was accelerated. From January 1st to the peak in May, the hash rate went from 293 terahash per second to 643 terahash per second. Then after the Bitcoin sell-off and dip, the hash rate bottomed out on June 26th at 477. And then has consistently risen over the last 2 months to where we are today at 700 terahash per second. The slopes of the two ramp rates are very similar, and we can calculate that during these periods the hash rate grew at an average of 2.5 terahash per second per day. If we wanted to see the profits fall in half, then you would need to double the hash rate on the network. To add another 700 terahash per second to the network at a rate of 2.5 terahash per second per day, it would take 280 days. Well, 280 days from now puts us into June of next year. Now imagine all of these GPUs on this list earning half of what they earn today. What if next year the RX 580 8GB version is earning half at just 87 cents per day? Who is going to pay $400 for an RX 580? The ROI would be more than a year. The GTX 1660 Super situation is even worse. Who is going to pay over $500 for a 1660 Super that earns just 87 cents per day? The recently released Radeon RX 6600 XT, the efficiency champ, will earn just $1 per day. So even at its MSRP of $379, the ROI would be over a year. Finally, the BFG GPU, the RTX 3090, would be earning just under $350 per day, and at today's going prices of $2,700, the ROI would be over 2 years. Today's ridiculous GPU prices can't be sustained unless the GPU profits are maintained, and that would require the price of Ethereum to rise up to over $6,000 next year. Now I know I've greatly simplified a very complex set of factors that will affect profits in GPU mining. There are other driving forces, from environmental concerns of GPU mining to governmental regulation concerns of cryptocurrencies, that can affect Ethereum's price. So don't take next June as an absolute date. What I did show is that it is possible for mining to drop in profitability such that GPU miners will pull back purchases, especially as risk and uncertainty rise. This in turn will allow GPU prices to return to MSRP. By the way, if you like videos like this, hit that like button and subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments below if you are still waiting to buy your GPU at MSRP. So even if Ethereum delays the merge and its move to proof of stake next year, the market forces will temper the growth we have seen this year, and we should see things return to normal. I'll be watching how this goes on a regular basis and will provide updates along the way, as I am extremely curious when the final phase will begin. This investigative journey has been a longer one than I thought, as I just wanted to search for the truth for the real reason I can't get a GPU anywhere near MSRP for the past year. If you haven't followed along and want to know how I got to this point in investigating GPU prices, check out this series here. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.